This is Mrs. Naslin, and today we're going to be introducing the thousandths place. So we're starting off with this extended place value chart. I want you to notice, as in a normal place value chart, we've got our ones, our tens, our hundreds, our thousands going this direction. Then you see the little decimal right there, okay? And now we're going this way. So we've already talked about the tenths, or the first place value after the decimal, which is the same as 1 over 10, or even 10 cents. Then we move to the hundredths, and you'll see that it's 2 place values past the decimal, and it's 1 over 100. And today we're talking about the thousandths. So it's 1 over 1,000, and it's 3 place values away from the decimal, or 1/10 of a penny would be the money version of that. So this is the place value chart, and we'll be thinking about this as we try to solve these problems. So it says read and write each mixed number as a decimal. Now I love doing these because there's a lot of tricks we can use when we try to figure these out. We're not going to do all these problems. We're just going to kind of skip around a little bit, but let's start with this one, 6 3/100ths. And I start by just writing my 6 because my whole number is going to stay the same no matter what. And then my trick is I count my zeros. So I've got 2 zeros and I have a 3 here. So if I were going to start behind my 3, I'm going to have to go over 2 spots. So I go over 1, 2, and I put a decimal. So you'll see that I would have a place value there for a 0. So I'm going to put 1 0 and then the 3. And if you remember back to our place value chart, 2 over is the hundredths value. Okay, 2 over is the hundredths value. So as a decimal, 6 3/100ths is written like this, 6 3/100ths. All right, let's try number 6, 41 4/1000ths. So my whole number, again, stays the same. I still have my 41. All right, and I'm just going to rewrite 4 over 1,000 up here just to give us a little bit more space. And I'm going to count my zeros just like I did before. If I was just writing 4 1,000ths, I would count my zeros. I've got 1, 2, 3 zeros. So I'm going to write my 4, give myself a little space because I know I'm going to have to go over a little bit. I start behind and I go 1, 2, 3, 3 spots. I said 4, but it was 1, 2, 3 spots, right? And I put my decimal. So my decimal would look like that. So I have my 41 still there, and then I'm going to have to add 2 zeros and a 4. And again, I say this as 41 4/1000ths. All right. So that's how you convert from a mixed number to a decimal. Now here it says read and write each decimal as a mixed number. So now it wants us to go the other direction. So I'll start with this one here. I see that 26 is on this side of the decimal, the left side, so I know that's my whole number, so I'm going to be able to write 26. This is, of course, it's super small to write in this little space. And I have 312 thousandths. Now, if you can't remember, you can always go back to your chart. And I know it's thousands because it's 1, 2, 3 place values away from the decimal. Okay, I'm 1, 2, 3 place values away from the decimal. So I'm going to write my 312 at the top. And then on the bottom of my fraction, I'm going to write 1,000. You do just kind of have to memorize this place value, that it goes tenths, hundredths, thousandths. And that'll help you solve these problems a lot quicker. All right, now this one, if I was going to say this number, I would say 3 8800ths. So I have 3, it's my whole number. Remember, it's on the left side of the decimal. And I know it's 2 place values over, so I know it's the hundredths place value. So 88 is going to go on the top of my fraction. And 100 is going to be the bottom of my fraction. 88 hundredths. All right. Now we'll come down here. It says read each word, then write the decimal for each word. So I'm going to type it actually for my sake because it's going to be a lot easier for me to go faster if I type this out. So it says 5/10. Oh, they don't need us to type this, wants to write it. Okay, never mind. We'll go back. So 5 tenths. So I listen carefully. I hear 5/10. Okay, so I'm going to go a 0 here, and there's 5 in the tenths spot. So again, I can always come back over. Ooh, what's tenths again? Oh, it's right after the decimal. Okay, so I'm going to write 5/10. How about this one? 10 and 200. So I want you to hear that and. And is the decimal. Whenever you see the and, you know you have to put a decimal. So I have 10 and 200. So I'm going to write my 10, put my decimal, and then it's in the hundredth spot, 200ths. Okay, so I know I have a 0 here, and then I have a 2 in the hundredth spot. Now, if it said something like 1200ths, then I'd have a 1 here. But since it's only 2, I have a 0 in that place value spot. All right, good. Now, the last thing that we have is they want us to write these numbers in expanded form. So we've written expanded form before, but it's a little different when we look at decimals. So we look here at this example. You'll see for the first number, they did 2 times 1 because it's the 1 spot. Then they said plus 9 times 1/10 because it's the 10th spot. Then they did 3 times 100ths because it's the 100th spot. And then 6 times 1,000ths because it's the 1,000th spot. So if I was going to do this number here, I would start off by saying 1, and I might run out of room in here. That's okay. 1 times 10, because that 1 is in the tens spot, plus that 4, if you look at it carefully, it's in the 1 spot. So I'm going to say 4 times, and if you said 1, you're in the right spot, plus 9, sorry, not 9, now plus 2. Now I'm on the other side of the decimal, so I'm in the 10th spot. Oops, should put 2 right there, plus, might have to erase a little bit here. Let's grab my eraser if I can find it. Grab my eraser here, erase that a little bit. All right, now we'll go back. Plus 2 times, and it'll be 0.1 or 1/10, plus, now I have to go over to that 100 spot, 5 times, and I'm going to go to the 100 spot, 100th. And that is the expanded form of 14 and 2500ths. So we practice how to convert mixed numbers to decimals, how to take decimals and make them into mixed numbers. We talked about reading the words and writing it in the decimal form. We also talked about writing the expanded form of a decimal. Thanks for watching.